Hello, my name is Lance Martin. I'm the broker-owner of our property management department, and I'd like to explain our property management services to you just a little bit. So come on in and we'll take a tour. Okay, why don't you follow me on in? We're going to talk a little bit about the services we have to offer. Needless to say, you're on our website right now, and if you look on the owner's page, which is where you happen to be, you're going to find a property management presentation. If you've already looked at it, I'm basically going to explain it to you. One of the very first things you notice on our property management presentation is right up front, we talk about fees. So let's get that part out of the way right now. Our full-service property management company has 2 fees, and that's it. We charge 9% of the monthly collected rent. That's only on collected rent. So during the property, any type of vacancy or when the property is not collecting rent, God forbid a tenant's not paying, we don't get paid either. So the 9% is only on collected rent, and then we have a $295 tenant placement fee. The tenant placement fee is a one-time fee for a tenant placement. So if a property goes through multiple tenants over multiple years, well, the $295 does kick in with each new tenant that's placed. Alrighty, let's go to the next page. Alright, we just spent a little bit of time talking about our fees. Now let's talk about a general overview of our services. From the very first moment you saw we had a for rent sign in the front of the yard. I cannot stress how important it is for you to allow us to put our for rent sign in the front of your house. Whether you're buying a house or renting a house, most of our leads frankly come from a for rent sign in the front yard. So if you've got any concerns about that, please put them aside. Let us get our for rent sign in there. You'll be amazed how much activity we get off the sign calls alone. Also, internet advertising. You're on our website. It makes sense. All of the advertising that we do on our website, there's no additional charge for that. It's all built into our package. So the web access, not only the tenant portal, the owner portal, but the search features, it's all included. There are some additional charges for advertising, but that's really up to you. If newspaper advertising is important to you, and frankly, it used to be important to us, but over the last several years, print advertising just really has not delivered the bang for the buck. But if that's something you're interested in, we'd be happy to do it. However, in most cases, it's probably going to cost you close to $100 per week if that's what you want to do. We can talk to our sales staff about that, and if that's something you think is important in your area, we'll obviously address it. Now, some of the other more elementary things comes to showing the property. We're inside one of our rentals right now. This is generally a rental that's in more or less the condition that we need it to be in to rent. But when it comes to showing, most management companies, believe it or not, do not actually show your property. You'd be surprised how many management companies will actually give out a key to a prospective tenant in exchange for a driver's license. We don't do that. Every prospective tenant who wants to look at your property will basically be shown that property personally by one of our property management leasing agents. Personal tour of the property, giving them an idea, not only from a security standpoint, because we don't want to have keys running around, but bottom line is we show all of our properties personally and like to be able to get that personal touch, and it helps us screen the tenant. Tenant screening really is a critical part of, frankly, any decision when it comes to renting your property. Whether you use a property management company like ours, or frankly, whether you decide to rent the property on your own, really, screening the tenant is really where it's at. Basically, the basics, the stuff that you would think of when you're screening any normal tenant. Do they have a job? Do they have income? What does their credit look like? Do they have money in the bank? All of those type of factors, of course, are very, very important. Any tenant that we ultimately think is a quality tenant, and basically in effect a tenant that we would approve, we will then review that tenant's history with you and ultimately get you to sign off on that tenant as well. Once we've got a tenant who's basically approved, the move-in process is, again, almost as important as anything else. Photo documentation of your property from head to toe, front to back, the whole 9 yards. We do all of that in addition to a written move-in and move-out inspections with all of our tenants. Let's talk about it a little bit more. Let's take you to the next room. Alright, one of the other basic services that we offer is we transfer all the utilities. And again, it sounds like a minor thing, but when tenants move in and out of a property, you'd be surprised how much time it takes to actually turn off the gas, electric, and water, or for that matter, turn them back on. So all the utility transfers we handle for you. However, we do put them in your name. We'll pay the bills for you, and we'll make sure all that's coordinated so you have a nice, clean financial statement. But again, they are going to be in your name. We used to put utilities in our name, and that turned out to be a problem. Some of the other basic services that we contact, or that you are contracting with us for, basically are to communicate, all of our communications with the tenant. 100% of the dialogue between us and the tenant is just that, between us and the tenant. It should be very rare, if ever, that you're in a position where you're talking face-to-face with your tenant. You're paying us to manage your property. I guarantee you, once you make contact with that tenant, you've now got a new friend. Probably not exactly what you wanted. Also, we work with all the vendors, whether it's the landscaper, or whether it's the pool guy, or anybody interior of the property, air conditioning, plumbing, heating, electric. We've got vendors to handle all of that, and we can coordinate all those repairs for you as well. On the financial side, we basically have a state-of-the-art website that you can monitor 24/7 to see whether your tenant's paid rent, whether your distribution's been sent out, or basically the status of anything to do with your property. All of the funds are put in a federally insured FDIC trust account, so you don't have to worry about that. And again, they are handled properly through the Department of Real Estate's rules and regulations as it relates to trust fund handling. Come on upstairs and we'll finish this and we'll get you the rest of our website. Okay, to wrap up, the length of the agreement that you would be executing with our management company is 1 year. If you like us a year from now, we'll renew for another year. The reality is, very, very few of our customers ever cancel a service. Really, the only time they cancel is if they decide to sell the property, which frankly we can help you with, or if they decide to move back in for whatever reason. But the agreement is for a 1-year period, so if you're not prepared to rent your property for at least a year, then you probably need to reconsider your decision to rent it all. If you have any questions, please browse the rest of the site. Don't hesitate to call us. We have lots of people. I'd be more than happy to answer any more questions that you've got. Thank you very much.